following preview has been rated good by the Good, the Bad, and the Weird podcast. Please check out the full episode when it releases on Sunday. This year, adventure comes knocking. From the director of the one Halloween Christmas movie with the Skeleton Man, and a movie about a peach with even more bugs than this movie, we present Coraline.
One of the movies that I consider almost perfect.
I wouldn't go as far to say as it's almost perfect. I think it's very, very good.
I will let that happen.
I don't think it's on the same level as like 12 Angry Men, but I still think it's a very, very good movie.
For me, this movie has always had a soft spot. It hits all of those nice nostalgic feels for me, while also maintaining its beautifulness.
Yeah.
This movie still looks amazing.
Well, and I think part of the reason this movie still holds up is, one, it came out at a time for at least us that there was a gap between stop animation because CGI was the big thing, which we talk about a little bit of that influence in this movie as well. But also it came out when I think you were still in high school or I had just gotten out of high school, something like that.
Somewhere along those lines.
Because you graduated the year after me, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Something along those lines. But it's one of those movies where we either dismissed it or we saw it later because we liked Tim Burton and we assumed this was a Tim Burton movie because it had a very similar style, something that I kept perpetrating the lie for probably a good half decade of like, oh yeah, this is Tim Burton. Then you look it up and it's like,
it's not.
No, not at all.
It's not. But yeah, this movie was one of those ones that, like, for those of us who saw it, a lot of us fell head over heels in love with it immediately. And then a lot of my friends didn't see this when it came out. But later on, like, it is definitely a crowd favorite still. One of the things that I think helped, like, create it in, like, almost an instant cult classic status for those of us who liked the, like, Tim Burton style of stuff. Yeah. Was, without being too directly, like, gruesome, where it's talking about, like, actual, you know, re-resurrecting our dead dog, or... Yeah. Like... It's not Corpse Bride. But it does have that really intense, like, there is horror in this. It is just not gory or gruesome or explicit. Yeah. But it is unquestionably a horror film, but without, like, watering anything down for kids, and also without, like, having it be so scary. It has that nice underlying, almost like we talked about, like, the Valley of Uncertainty or Uncanniness. Yeah. This movie does a great job of playing off of that and having your audience, like, from the moment this movie starts, having those uneasy feelings. Yeah, you get a little bit of just something's not right, but it's not like Goonies that starts off with a fake suicide. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not 80s level of like, oh, it's for kids. We just told you that there's a suicide. Yeah, it's no Land Before Time. Yeah, no, we don't watch our mom die. Thank God. But at the same time, we are tempted to be, like, killed. You do leave other mother to die. And she explicitly says that she will be starving to death, and we rip off her hand. So, yeah. But at the same time, it's at no point do you think, oh, this is too much. No. Like, this is such a nicely balanced movie, and there's so much detail both in the music, in the dialogue, in the writing, and in just the models themselves that you can watch this multiple times in the same year and still find something new to look at. Yeah, I think us returning to it as much more mature adults, like we bring it up a little bit in the episode, is that this movie has much more mature themes about perceived neglect and not child abuse, but also, like, a child being unhappy and, like, having to go through a big change. Yeah, Coraline is... I feel she's past the age of, oh, mom and dad are working. Oh, I'm gonna go and run away. Yeah. She's just kind of stuck there, because I don't think she really feels like she has anywhere to run away to 100%. No. And also, I think she knows she's too big to command their attention. Mm-hmm. Like, she's not a kid anymore. She's 11. She's She's old enough to occupy her own time. Yeah, she should be old enough to let her parents work but she's bored, and she's in a place that she doesn't know with no friends.
Yeah, exactly. And the only kid around her is that meme of the weird neighborhood kid.
Who is actually the weird neighborhood kid.
Yeah.
YB's so fucking weird. But, and despite YB being my least favorite character by far, he still does work in the film.
Well, and now that I'm thinking about it, I think YB is...
probably suffering from the same problem she is.
Exactly. He's trying a little too hard to be a friend, but he's also... He knows he's awkward, but he still wants the attention as well.
Yeah, and also, YB definitely strikes me as the sort of kid who, he's been alone long enough that he's become weird.
Yeah.
Like, when you play by yourself long enough, yeah, you're gonna be the weird kid.
Yeah, it's me after, locking myself away for a week trying to understand Inception weird.
Yeah, and then you come out and realize that no one else has watched Inception in years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that many times back to back to back trying to solve it and...
Yeah, YB has to learn that not everyone spends their time with a weird face mask looking for banana slugs.
I'm sure there's some people out there who do that as adults.
Yes, YBs.
Yeah. I don't know. There's still something that Coraline still hits. And
yes, the adults in it are well written, well rounded. No one feels like a flat character. And even Coraline manages to be a very realistic and compelling 11-year-old child. Yeah,
and honestly, I regret that I didn't do a little digging and see if I could get the Leica Studio version of the DVD beforehand, because we used just the standard DVD one that I found at a used movie store.
You did find the one with 3D animation, though.
I think that was a standard release when it first came out, though.
Probably. It was something that they were really excited about, which... honestly, the film looks just fine without it, so I'm not upset.
As many 3D movies do, but...
I feel like some of them do try too hard. Yeah. There's too many scenes that feel like they are supposed to jump, whereas this one just feels like fun camera work.
The entire Alice in Wonderland and the entire Avatar movie.
Yeah, literally the entire Avatar movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, or Silent Hill 3D Revelations.
Oh god, that one's real bad about it. Yeah, this one just feels like clever camera work as opposed to forced 3D.
Yeah. No. And they're just something that I think returning to it as adults has made it that much more special.
Yeah, and if you're a movie nerd like us, the technology behind making this film is mind-blowingly fascinating. And there's kind of, there was some knowledge when Nightmare Before Christmas came out. They did a great job of trying to, explain and show off that when it came out. I honestly think there's more available for Coraline, though. There's so many pictures available of, what it looks like without having it, the armature removed, or the hands that have to hold up the, fat Russian man.
Yeah.
Or, seeing the hundreds of faces that Coraline has.
It's like taking model progression photos, so.
And, also learning about, the hair and the clothing tech that, advanced for this movie is really interesting. Because, yeah, I mean, even if you don't work in miniature... once you start listening to these people talk about all of the detail and how many people put in so much effort into this, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, Coraline is a very solid movie just all around.
Oh,
so.
Definitely. A fun watch, no matter how you watch it.
Yep. But anywho, this has been the Good, the Bad, and the Weird previews.
Check out the full episode.
Actually, coming out in the new year.
Hooray! Happy New Year!
Our first weird timing, so, but anywho. Peace!